I'm sharing the screen. Um, just give me 2 minutes. Sorry for the inconvenience, guys. Okay, thank you all for your cooperation for switching to Google as soon as we requested. It was a last minute. We were not able to take more participants for this workshop. I'll just give you a quick introduction about myself. I'm architect Ramya. I have 15 years plus experience in residential architecture, and I also have experience in teaching, and few of my other activities is photography, model making, etc. And we have recently started with a company called Yellow Ant Nest, where we provide platform for architects, construction workers, and also we are trying to build a material database where anybody across the country can understand or find details about the materials. So you can have a look on the website. We are recently building it. And apart from that, it is a platform. Sorry, excuse me. It is a platform where architects can come forward and share their design on our platform, where we convert their individual designs into e-assets, where we provide the QC. Complete drawings will be made presentable. We upload these designs in the form of e-books on our platform, where anybody across the country can find the required design as per their plot dimensions or number of floors, or maybe how many units they are looking for. With these filters, they will be able to find the units, find the designs done by licensed architects across the country, and they can download these designs directly from our website. So we are trying to start with the small set of designs right now, but our target is to reach maximum numbers up to like 500,000 designs on our platform. So if you are interested as an architect, if you are interested to share your design on our platform, please reach out to us. And today I'm happy to announce our L&D partners, that is APCO Building Solutions. You might have heard this brand. It is a very old company where they are providing solutions for construction, especially the building blocks, which is made of fly ash. It is there in the industry from past 50 years, 50 plus years actually, and in and around closer to the Bangalore, Mysore, Chennai, so anywhere across Bangalore boundaries, and with the circumstances of say 100 to 200 kilometers, you will be able to find this material, which is very sustainable and eco-friendly, cost-effective, and you can go for a large scale also. They have 5 factories across the city where any corner you can reach out to them. So these are the some products which they have in their category, in their catalog, where they have blocks, hollow blocks, solid blocks, which will be used for different purposes. And they also have the pavers, which are very strong comparatively in the industry, and which is very durable. This is a well-known brand which products are used in many of the government structures and popular structures in Bengaluru city. See, these are the list. One second, hold on. Okay. These are the few constructions, buildings which is being constructed by APCO building blocks. That is, one is well-known Bangalore International Airport, the utility building, Namma Metro. These are very known structures which you can find the usage of these blocks here. And coming to today's workshop, this is mainly into how your drawings can speak more in the site, and also how to produce more professional drawings without any errors, or making the drawings more understandable for the people who are using it at the site is the main motive of this workshop here. This is the second part of the workshop which we conducted in our previous month, that is in December. We had covered the topics like initial drafting settings, where you can do a set of adjustments in AutoCAD, which will make your drafting speed very high. And the other things is how to start with your professional floor plans, how to give the dimensions in your working drawings, how to start working on the elevation sections and the electrical layout. These were
Can you
topics.
minimize
Hello, ma'am.
the meet
Yes,
cover
yes.
left?
Okay, one
Uh,
second. Are you able to see the screen now?
yes, we are able to see the screen, the left side bottom. Meet
Are you able to
meet
see?
one. Yes, yes,
Yes. Okay. You're able to see now? Clear, right?
yes, yes.
Okay. Thank you. And yeah, so today we are going to complete how to prepare the plumbing layout and doors and window drawing, staircase detail, and many of the common errors we have recorded, which will be shared to you, which you can avoid these mistakes in your upcoming drawings. And the last one is the few main points that you have to consider before you are going to site, or maybe sorry, before you're going to site, and few of the points, or few of the streams that you can choose for your career growth. If you are an architecture student and you are looking for more options apart from only being individual architecture firm, there are many other streams which you can go for. So we are going to talk about that also. So we'll start with plumbing layout.
Excuse me, ma'am.
Yes, tell me.
Excuse me, ma'am. Ma'am, can you close your meeting window? It's on the bottom left. If you can just cancel it, it's overlapping with the presentation.
Okay. Okay, now.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you. One second. Is it clear now?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
Yes, ma'am.
yes.
Okay, fine. Yeah. So the plumbing drawings. Before we start the plumbing drawings, can I get quickly get few introduction on how many architects or civil engineers? So I just want to know who all are there here so that I can explain in that perspective. Is that possible? Can you unmute and tell me one by one, like
I am
which
civil
background
engineer,
you are
ma'am.
coming from? Sorry?
I am civil engineer, ma'am.
Okay.
Like,
And
uh,
any architecture students, fresh architects? Give me a thumbs up or a
Ma'am, I
hand.
am architecture and interior design student.
You are a student?
Yeah.
Good evening, ma'am.
Yes, yes. Hi. Tell me.
I'm a fresh graduate and I'm working in a firm and I'm an
Okay. Okay,
architect.
great.
Yeah.
Okay. You can text me in the chat also so that I can have a understanding like how many architecture students are there, how many civil engineers are there. Can I get a quick update? Can you just leave me a text? Okay, so I'll come back to the text soon. Meanwhile, we'll continue with the plumbing layout. So, in the plumbing layout, the drawing is prepared to tell the workers at the site to how to lay the pipes in which direction, how many inlets should be provided, how many outlets should be provided, where the water has to be taken out, and from where the water has to be taken in to the entire building and individual toilets, kitchen, and utility. So, we are mainly concentrating in the residential layout right now because that is the time which we can cover here right in this workshop. So we are taking a small example of this one villa. This is a 4 BHK villa, what you're seeing here. And we have around 4 toilets, one kitchen and utility. So what I'm doing is, as you see here, we have the overhead tank coming on the last slab, and from here I have to plan the pipes going to individual or all the toilets that are there in the structure. So here I have one toilet, there is one toilet here, and we have the kitchen coming in this place. In this corner is the kitchen, and here I have the utility. In the ground floor I have two toilets here. So based on this, you have to divide your outlets from your water tanks. You have to see how it is taken out, and to get the water tank to your house, you have to see from where you have the water connection from your main road, where you can take the water inside with the water meter. Any questions, guys? Meenal, you have unmute. You have anything to ask, Meenal? Hello? Okay. So this is how first thing has to be like after you take the water to your overhead tank, from there you have to distribute it and take the water down to all the directions. Usually when you plan, people provide toilets one above the other only because of this reason. Okay. And here in the basement you will have a sump, and there is a small thumb rule for your locating the sump. That is it shouldn't be very close to your column or the foundation of the column. Please keep it at least 1.5 feet away from the columns, and it can come above the parking or maybe sometimes above the bedroom also. But you can take the plinth around the, sorry, okay, you can take it. So the pipelines goes below the plinth. So you need not worry about what activities are coming here. So according to that, you can plan your sump location. Only thing is that it shouldn't be very close to the any column foundation. So from here, you can decide from in which direction you want to take the water to your overhead tank. So from the sump directly, it comes here. So overhead tank, here we have three water tanks. One is for the regular state storage and one is for the solar. So what we have decided is from here, so we have to show the arrows in which direction the water actually flows. So behind the column, we have made a provision from where the water is pulled on to the top last slab. So it will come here, then we have taken bends and it reaches your overhead tank. So people also decide on location of overhead tanks as per Vastu, that is usually towards southwest. So towards the southwest, they keep the water tanks, and they provide the distribution from that location, and keeping as per vastu that should be the highest location also, so that will also help you to distribute from there to all other locations, all other rooms, that is toilets, kitchen, everything. So from here, it is again divided. So before you come to the 2D drawing, what we would recommend is to start with the small rectangular blocks and decide where all you need the pipelines that has to come to your toilets. So this will tell you, like, for example, you have the pipe running here, and if you have any disturbance, like for example, there might be a column coming there, there might be a beam, or there is a window which is coming there. During that time, what you will have to do is take a small dimension, a small deviation, and then you can continue taking the water down. So this will help you to locate exactly in that particular floor where the pipe location has to be provided. So once you complete this, how you are distributing. So for example, if you have the water outlets in two directions, they use the T joinery to distribute the water, and according to that, the inflow will be decided. So for this particular toilet, we are taking the water inside from here in this location. So as per this, you will update your floor plans with the showing, okay, sorry, showing where your water inlets are starting from. It is little stuck. So after you decide that, you can start with layouts in the toilet. That is um, where your water heaters are coming, where your WC, where your wash basins are coming, where the shower heads has to be placed. So plan your shower heads, WC, and all these things in the toilet. And then once you get the points where the pipes are coming, according to that, you can show from where the pipes has to be taken inside. So this blue color represents the cold water distribution, and this red color with HW represents the hot water distribution. So first step is taking the water inside the plot. Wherever you have the nearby water connection, from there you are going to draw the lines into your sump tank, and from there you will show the water flowing upwards towards the overhead tank. So from there you are again taking the distributing the water downwards to the toilets, kitchen, and utility. And here you are going to show each connection going to your all the fixtures in the toilet. It can be a tap, WC, health faucet, the wash basin, water heaters. So for all these fixtures, you have to show the points and the pipes running individually. And from here, again, you have to decide how the water, wastewater, is taken out of the construction. So the first point is to decide where your nanny traps are going to come. The best recommendation is to give the nanny trap right next to your shower head and your WC, because from where the water starts flowing, you're not letting the water to flow a long distance and then you drain the water. So it is always best to provide your drains close to the shower heads, or where the chances of spillage of water is possible. So those places it is recommended to provide the nanny traps. People generally go for maximum of two numbers in a one toilet. Otherwise it can be kept for just one location, where your wash basin water outlet is also connected directly to your nanny trap. So how you are going to distribute this, all these internal lines, is that one option is you can take all the pipes running below the slab and cover it with the false ceiling, UPVC or the PVC false ceiling, which is available in the market right now. Or you can actually raise the slab or take a sunken slab and lay all your pipes. And as you see here, this cross pipe is going below the slab. I mean, we have taken a sunken slab. Just above the slab you are going to place the piping, and you are going to fill it with cinder and then do your flooring. Only differences is that when you take the pipelines below the slab, it will help you for the further maintenance. It will be very easy for you. With when it is covered with a false ceiling, they will open a small slab in between, and they can do the required repairs or the connections. If there is any small water leakage, it will be very easy for maintenance. But if you are going to place these pipes inside the flooring, fill it up with the cinder, after that if you are going to cover it with the tiles, then if there is any leakage, maybe after 10 to 15 years it will start showing up in your walls, in your doors. So the walls become swamp, the water droplets will actually damage all the paint structure, the tiles can start showing the cracks. So always this flooring, all the walls remain wet during the rainy season. Even if it is in summer, if the leakage is high, then it doesn't dry at all. So the maintenance becomes very high if you go for the sunken slab system, which is followed for many years in the industry, but now it is not really recommended if you are looking for a longer durability of the structure. So it is always recommended to take your pipes, do a core cutting in the slab, put the nanny trap. So below the slab, you can connect these through the below the slab. You can start connecting all the pipes, and in one go you can take the pipe outside. So if you want, do not prefer to go for a core cutting, you can give a dummy pipe before you pour the concrete when you are laying the slab. So what we do is get if you have all the drawings ready, prepare one dummy pipe filled with a brick or a cloth or something, and place it where you want to use this location to take the water outside, and then you pour the concrete. So once the concrete is set, everything, it will be very easy for you. This opening will be used to run all your pipes, and then it will be sealed with concrete, or it is sealed with the waterproofing elements. So it will become very easy to run the pipes, especially when you have the beams and slab coming there. So for example, if I have a toilet here, so if I have a toilet here, I have the outlet coming, and below this also I have a beam. So what happens after I take the outlet outside? I have to take 1.5, 2 feet down, and then I have to again take it inside to continue the flow. So when you have this dummy openings while creating the slab, it will become very helpful to run these pipes without any disturbance, and even for the maintenance, it will be very helpful. Only thing is, during the design stage, you have to make sure that these are maintained, or if the toilet is not coming above the toilet, if you have a toilet coming above the dining or a foyer, so designers usually do not follow exactly like compulsory that toilet has to come above the toilet. If you're not following that, also you can cover it up with any other false ceiling or any other design materials, design elements, and this can be opened and used it for the repair work, and then you can close it again. So this is one option. So once you connect these, once you lay all your pipes, then you are going to show how the water is flowing outside. For example, in this toilet, we are getting the cold water to the wash basin, to the WC here, and the shower head here. So after that, through this drain, your soil water is taken out. The orange line, what you are seeing, the water flow is also shown. It is also shown what is the dia of the pipe. And for the solid waste, we are showing in the green or yellow lines are shown in any plumbing drawings in general. So these are taken down, and in the ground floor, you are going to show the manholes at every 20 feet in dia. So for example, if you have a manhole here, minimum of 10 meters on both the direction, you can consider, and altogether it will come to 20 feet. In between these, it is preferred to give 20 feet of distance and lay your manholes. So if you are concerned about not having these manholes all around the structure, plan your toilets coming onto one side of the building, which is a little difficult, but if you have limited requirement, this is 100% possible. So you can check that and plan during the design. You can consider these points, which will make your services much easier. So as you see here, I have taken all the points. So for example, I'll show you one. So here I have this point, I have the soil waste pipe, this is the liquid waste, This is cold water inlet and hot water inlet. I'm going to copy this, take a common point here and paste it here. So this will tell you exactly where it is coming. So it is coming in this location in the same place. But if you are shifting in any of the floor plans, I would recommend you to take a section in this, take a section and then you can export it. You can export it, and here you will know exactly where your outlets are coming. So according to this reference, you can use in all the floors and show where the water is taken inside and outside. So we'll quickly refer our, so as I told you, the location and the capacity of the sump depending on number of people or depending on of uh, number of residents or the location where you have water scarcity, then you will have to go for more storage. If you have a lesser, if you do not need so much of storage, then you might not need a bigger sump tank. And in even in building a sump tank, you have two to three types of sump tanks which you can go for. One is the ready to install sumps, the second one is the RCC, the reinforced sumps. So depending on the site location, you can give these options to your clients. And then is to identify the nearest point from where you can connect this sump tank to your overhead tank, and from there how it is distributed. So we discussed this, and these are the few things which you will have to remember. That is the hot water, we can usually go for 3/4 inch or 1 inch. These days if you are using a pressure pump or a heat pump, we would recommend to go for 1 inch for both hot water and cold water. Wastewater can go up to like 2.5 to 3 inches, and sewage water compulsory you will have to go for 6 inches. Any questions here? If you have any questions, you can ask.
Some wastewater pipe also in every bathroom. Wastewater pipe
Waste,
we have to provide in every toilet.
wastewater
The wastewater.
pipe, sorry, come again.
We
Wastewater pipe has to be provided in every toilet, yes.
okay, just okay, thank
Yeah,
okay.
because you will have the nanny traps, you will
Yeah,
have the
okay.
solid waste in all. So
Okay.
you will have to
Yeah.
provide the wastewater in kitchen and utility also, you will have to provide. So wherever you are taking the water inside, everywhere you
Okay.
have to give the outlet. Okay. Any other questions? Was it clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you. So we'll go to the next topic, that is the door window details. So as we discussed in the last workshop, whoever has attended, we had recommended to create this kind of a block where it will help you to understand what are the heights of individual floors. If you're following with the same height in all the floors, it will not be a huge challenge. But if you're playing with different levels and you might feel very confused at what height your windows are coming or what is the maximum height of doors you can go for. So what we recommend is to start with the floor level. So from the floor level to whichever floor you are starting with, you have to find out. Okay, so you have to find out what is the ceiling height, what is the beam height, and the thickness of your slab. So fix these. Okay, fix these heights. So then you can start with providing at what height you want to provide the windows. So generally as you see, depending on the room function or maybe depending on what kind of elevation you want to create, these windows are designed. Especially if you are planning with few complex solids, or if you are trying out different shapes, then providing these kind of windows or understanding how this understanding where the beam height is coming, or what should be the maximum width of the window, how much space is left. So what procedure we follow is complete all the window designs on your model first, and then you can take your floor plans, or take your windows and doors and start working on the detailed drawings. So what we have done is, we, according to the elevation and the functionality, we usually provide a minimum of two windows in the bedrooms and one good big window in the toilet and living room, depending on what kind of theme our clients are looking for. According to that, we decide if we have to provide a bigger windows, one big window, or smaller different windows. So you decide like how many types of windows you want to provide, and once you finalize everything in your 3D, then you have to start with each floor, name the windows in the working drawing first, start with naming the windows, and then you can start with the doors first, and then you can continue with the windows. So this is the first floor window detail which you are looking at. So here we have started with the sliding doors. I'm showing the frame of the window. So the important thing which is required at the construction site is, tell them what should be the width and the depth of the frames that you are going to use in the in the windows which you want. So for example, either you can go for 5 by 3. If you're going for wooden windows especially, client will be concerned about the span which you are going to use, how big maximum span of the windows can go up to like 12 feet to 13 feet. More than that, if you provide with wooden windows, there is chances that it bends over a period of time and your shutters might not sit properly. So because of that, you have to give additional mullions or give more dividers. So to reduce the span, all your creativity will come into picture here. So here you have to decide if the span is bigger. If you have a really huge window, you can go up to like 5 by 7, 4 by 5. These are the common size you can get in the market for any wood. If you're going for UPVC, then depending on the span, they can suggest you the window frame size, or you can also ask saying that I'm looking for sleeker windows where you want to display more glass and less border. So if you are having a small windows, it is always better to go for the sleeker frame. So here you can start with showing till what height you want the window. Since I know the maximum height I can go is till the beam height, beam bottom height. So since I know that, after that, so as soon as I start with the window drawing, I can decide the maximum height of any doors. The standard height we are going to take is 7 to 7.5 feet opening. After that, you can make it as a fixed glass, or you can keep just the doors to only 7 feet also. It depends on your design. After you provide all the drawings of the doors and windows, you have to start with providing the dimensions of each frame and the mullions. So once you complete that, show the fixed glass or on which side the door has to open. So for example, here if it is a sliding window, I will show the drawing with the arrow. So this will represent a a sliding door. And if it is a flush door, you can go with showing which direction it has to open. This will represent a flush door. So along with this, you have to show the complete end-to-end dimension, the complete width of whatever the opening after the brick wall, after the plastering, whatever the opening you have, that will become the entire span. Then your frames, the window frames will come into picture, and then your shutter frames will come into picture. So you have to show individual division. Like for example, if you are giving 3 divisions, if you are giving 2 divisions, mark it with the approximate dimensions which you are going to create. And if you are going to give the height, the main things you have to show is the sill height, window height, and the divisions what you're going to give. If you're going for any special window, any corner window, so you will have to show the floor plan showing on which side it has to open, how much of the extrusion you have to take out of the window. It's example, if you're going for a bay window, what should be the depth of the window after which you are going to place the window frames. So for to represent that, you will have to show the floor plan. For example, this is a corner a zigzag window which we have designed for the elevation. So this is how it looks. So to show this is the drawing which is prepared. So we have a solid plank. In between, we are going to place the frame where you can access, open or shut the window here. So these are the few things which you will have to consider. The sill height, the window height. You understand what is the sill height, right? From the floor level, how much height the window has to be placed. So that becomes the sill height. Usually people prefer to have the lintel height. Above that, it will be completely covered. If you have to show a lintel, so you can also show it as a, so usually lintel height will be provided at 7 feet or 8 feet. So here you can mention as lintel level, and all your windows will stop here at the lintel height. And if you prefer to give additional windows above the lintel, you can show it from the lintel level also. So that is about creating the doors and window drawings. These are the few sizes which are available in the market, which I have mentioned. So that is about door window detail and the plumbing detail. Any questions here? If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to ask. No questions? Anybody? Okay. So we'll go for the staircase drawing. Staircase drawing is also very simple. One thing what we follow is to create staircase in the first. Okay. Thank you, Anna. Yes. So the procedure what we follow in our form is that once we complete our 3D and once we fix all the heights at what level your ceiling heights are coming, so we'll create a block which will be used for all the elevations. So here as I show, so this is the block which we use for all the elevation sections. Similarly, we will be using that for the staircase detail also. So in the staircase detail, the important things that has to be shown is the razor height, thread width, and what is the kind of staircase you are going to choose. Is it chain slab or a vase slab chain staircase or a vase slab staircase, or where the windows are providing, where the windows are coming for your staircase. So draw a section along with the staircase where you want to take. According to that, here is the section we have almost completed, where only the staircase is what missing. So what we generally do once we export, we use a polyline and take the outer heights of the staircase. It depends on how much detail you want to provide. If you are creating any featured staircase where you want to use MS sections or you want to use wooden planks in your staircase, then the staircase detailing should be much higher. So I'm going to take this one floor, I'm going to show it. So this is the flooring height. I'm going to place it here. So if it is a chain staircase, I'm going to consider the chain staircase here. I'm just giving a offset. So wherever you are taking this section, only there you will have to show the cut section with the different hatch. So in this, you will have to show the stone laying or the tiles. So I'm going to show the stone. So this will become this stone here. Okay, so the same detail we have to continue for all the steps. So one side it will become, so for example, here I'm taking the section where you see, so this part I'm considering as a section and this part will go in the elevation part. So here what I will do is, so these steps will come into elevation and this part will be in your, on your sectional line. So here again, I'm using the same height and the width to take it for the next floor. So to cross check this, you will need to have the floor plan here. So our landing is ending at this place. I'll just move this. So this is the landing width, as you see here. This is the landing width and your cross step which you are seeing is seen in the elevation at this height. So after you provide this, I'm taking the thickness of the staircase to be 5 inches. It has to end at the same place. It will go for the further height. So calculating how many number of razors you need. you can decide on planning this. So once you finalize on number of razors, you will get the exact height. So in the chain slab, you will get to see the design below also in the chain staircase. If you go for a way slab, then you will see only the plain surface. Okay, so once you do all this detailing, you can start with numbering the staircase. Just provide the starting number at the landing. And at the starting of the landing again. So for the entire height till you reach your headroom, you need to provide the numbers. Then you have to show the height, that is one is the razor. Show it in two places, or you can mention this in the text also. And the thread, this you call it as a thread. So 9 by 6 is the standard thread and the height we use for the staircase design. That depends. You can increase or decrease this also. Some people prefer to use 6.5 by 10 inches or 7 inches by 5 inches. So it depends on space available and also the preference of the clients. So you can find out, or you can use your experience to decide, but you can still go for the standard, that is to be on a safer side. So from there you can show at what height the windows are coming. And what height should be the landing should be provided. So these are the important things which you have to show in your staircase detail section. You have to show the landing height and the window sill height, and the floor plan, it is compulsory that you show the width of the flight. So for example, here we have around 10 steps, 10 to 9 steps. To cover this 9 steps, what is the width space that you require at the site? So to understand this width is important, and the landing dimensions. So keep the landing dimensions same. That is the standard we have to follow. And in between the staircase, if you prefer to give and there is a space available, would always recommend to give the space in between the staircase, so that your railing or the railing designs come out really well and your railing will not eat up the space in the staircase. So just like any other section, you will be preparing the staircase section also, but you will add additional details to the staircase, and you can mention what is the material you are going to use. For example, if you are using a granite or tile, you can mention that. Or if you are going for the MS section staircase with a wooden plank, or if you are going for a cantilevered staircase, so decide on what kind of staircase suits the best for your design, and then you can start providing the detail. Window placement. So that is about the staircase detail. Staircase detail is not that difficult as you think. It is very simple. Only thing is you should know exact heights for your landing and the ceiling height. So once you know this, it will become very easier for you to prepare the staircase detail. Any questions here? No questions? We'll quickly take one break. But before that, one of my team member will play our L&D partner video to understand what is their how the production happens at their factory and the complete history and motive of this brand called APCO. We are not able to hear the audio. Sanjana, can you unmute, please? Hello, am I audible?
Yes, just a second. I'm sorry for the glitch.
Okay.
Is it audible?
Yes, it is audible now.
Yes.
This company was started by my father in 1973 against a well-established method of putting up buildings.
Um,
It was
Hello, Sanjana.
bricks
Can you
and
play it from the beginning, please? It is the voice is not matching.
This company was started by my father in 1973 against a well-established method of putting up buildings. It was bricks and probably granite all the way in terms of using them for walls for the house. So when that started, there were very few takers for the product, and probably in the first 7 years, just trying to convince people was by itself a huge mountain to climb for him. When I joined him in 1980, probably one or two buildings in 100 attempted to use blocks. However, on account of that persistence and efforts, things started looking up in the future, and one by one, people started accepting blocks as an alternate to bricks simply on account of the convenience of using a faster mode of construction, better quality of the product, and the ease of construction at that point of time.
The coffee product industry is a very, very, very complex industry. If you stagnate, that's the end. You get left behind. And this is the only reason APCO is remained number one in blocks for all these years. We have gone from making blocks the conventional hand-used way to having fully automated systems in the last 50 years. APCO has been a household name for the last 50 years. We've been the number one name when it comes to blocks for the last 50 years. And now APCO's goal and vision for the future is to become the number one name in anything related to building solutions, from pavers to curbstones to whatever is required. And that's the future of APCO.
എൻ്റെ പേര് മുഫത്താണ്. ഞാൻ അക്വ ഫാക്ടറിയിലേക്ക് ജോലിക്ക് കയറുന്നത് ഒരു 1980 ജൂൺ 16 മുതൽ. അപ്കോ നമുക്ക് ഫസ്റ്റ് സ്റ്റാർട്ടിങ്ങിൽ ഉണ്ടായിരുന്ന മിഷൻ മിനാട്ടോ മിഷനായിരുന്നു, സിംഗിൾ മിഷൻ. അത് കോയമ്പത്തൂർ മിഷനായിരുന്നു. അത് ആൾക്കാർ മൂന്ന് നാല് പേര് വേണമായിരുന്നു. 3-4 പോരാ, 10-12 പേര് വേണമായിരുന്നു ഒരു മെഷീൻ ഓപ്പറേറ്റ് ചെയ്യാനും അതിന്റെ പ്രൊഡക്ഷൻ എടുക്കാനും, ആൾക്കാർ ജോലി ചെയ്തിട്ട് ഇതാക്കാനൊക്കെ. അത് ബ്ലോക്ക് പ്രോബ്ലം ഒന്നും ഇല്ലായിരുന്നു. അന്നത്തെ കാലത്ത് നമ്മള് അപ്കോ ഫാക്ടറി ആയിരുന്നു കുറച്ച് ഇമ്പ്രൂവ്മെന്റ് ആയിട്ട് ഉണ്ടായിരുന്നത്. എന്ന് പറഞ്ഞാൽ ബാംഗ്ലൂര് ഒന്നാമതായിരുന്നു നമ്മളെ അപ്കോ ഫാക്ടറി. നമ്മൾ എല്ലാ ക്വാളിറ്റി നമ്മൾ ഗ്യാരണ്ടി കൊടുക്കും ബ്ലോക്കിന്. ഇത്ര വർഷത്തേക്ക് ഇത് വേഗം മറ്റുള്ള ലോക്കൽ ബ്ലോക്ക് മാതിരി അവർ 5 വർഷം കഴിഞ്ഞ് കഴിഞ്ഞാൽ മുതിർന്ന് വീഴാൻ സാധ്യതയില്ല. നമ്മുടെ ബ്ലോക്ക് നിന്ന് കഴിഞ്ഞാൽ പൊട്ടിച്ചാലും ഇത് അവർക്ക് ചുറ്റിയിട്ട് പൊട്ടിക്കേണ്ടി വരും. അത് അത്രയും ഉറപ്പായിരുന്നു നല്ല ക്വാളിറ്റി. അതാണ് നമ്മളെ മെയിൻ ആയിട്ടുള്ളത്. അപ്കോ ഫാക്ടറി ബ്ലോക്ക് എന്ന് പറഞ്ഞു കഴിഞ്ഞാൽ ക്വാളിറ്റി.
When Apple started in 1973, they were still operating in an environment that was relatively traditional. But they were so convinced about the product that no matter what hurdle came their way, they were able to maneuver through each of the obstacles. Then in the 90s, when Bangalore was going through the IT boom, Apple played a very fundamental role in supporting the infrastructure and development of the city.
പിന്നെ എനിക്ക് പറയാനുള്ളത് ഞാനിപ്പോൾ 32 years ഞങ്ങൾ വർക്ക് ചെയ്യുന്നു ആസ് എ ഫാമിലി.
Every day spent here, it's not just about delivering stocks, it's also delivering excellence to our customers.
Thank you, Sanjana, for playing the video. Thank you, Nikita, for being the L&D partners with Yellow Ant Nest. And if you guys know, APCO is a very good fire-resistant material. And at the site, because of the sizes what they have provided at the site, the cutting is also very less, and it sits perfectly. The sharpness, the accuracy of the blocks is really good, which has made the construction quality and the speed of construction goes very smooth and fast. And all individual cost of these blocks might look higher, but because of the bigger sizes available in the market, the overall construction price of the overall construction price will obviously come down. And the comparison with these APCO is hardly any other material you can find in the market right now. And with this, we'll quickly take another 4 to 5 minutes break and we'll continue with the workshop. Thank you. Hello? Can we continue now? Are you guys back? Okay, great. I'm sharing the screen.
Yes, yes.
Yes. Thank you, guys. Okay, so we are going to talk about a few of the errors which we commonly make as a fresher or students, which has to go to the site and it looks very unprofessional for the person who is reading it. So try to avoid these things when you are preparing the drawing, which was not happening when we used to hand draft it. But after we switch to AutoCAD or the softwares, these are the common errors which we find, and this will show you how experienced you are or how serious you are about your drawings, or how professional you are, how much experienced or professional or serious about your drawings can be seen on your at the site, from the contractors, from the engineers who are going to construct or who are going to execute your designs. So your drawings become equally important at the site, because without these you cannot tell person to execute your designs. So drawings are the language which you are going to use to get your designs see in the shape. So these are the common mistakes which we have come across over a period of time, where we take up architects projects, we do the QC, and we then upload it on the website. So we see these common errors done by the students and also architects, which cannot be accepted at the site. So one is the repetition of the dimensions. So if you have already provided one dimension in a room or a wall or a column, so do not repeat this. It can be right next to each other or it can be in any other location also. Once you give the dimensions, keep it limited to one time. And then is the second one, the missing dimensions. Sometimes you skip a few of the distance. It can be a window, it can be a door. So try to avoid this. Use a continuous command on AutoCAD to provide these dimensions, internal dimensions or external dimensions. And the second one is, um, again, do not show the columns and the distance from where the column has to be. I mean, the wall and the column individual dimensions you don't need to show, because this columns becomes the referral point at the site. So from there the walls are constructed. So if you are going to construct, or if you are asking person to construct 3 feet wall after the column, mention it as mention the total width of the column. So sometimes what happens, the column thickness, the width of the column might not be like exactly 100% match, because it is a man made. If in one place if it is like exactly 300 on the other place it can go to 350 or 330. So altogether what should be the width of the wall should be mentioned in the drawing, so that the person, the mason, can adjust the wall to stop at that location without increasing or decreasing the dimensions. So you get the exact space for your doors and windows when you give the entire wall dimension. Do not break the dimensions for the sake of columns. And then the cut lines in the staircase, and always follow the x axis and y axis. When you provide a dimension of a room in the text, always pick the width of the room as per your drawing. What is the x dimension of the room, and then go for the y dimension. And also avoid these overlapping, because even for you, if you have to confirm the dimensions what you have given in the text, when you take the printout, you will not be able to read what is the numbers you have given there. So try to avoid this also. Yeah. And next is the door names. So sometimes you might miss the door names or you might miss the window names. Try to avoid that. The dotted lines has to be shown only for the ventilators, where when you say that the section, the plans are actually drawn when you cut a building at a little above the sea level, that is at 3.5 to 4 feet. So only then you can show the windows with the continuous line and not the dotted lines, because we are not cutting the model or the building or a structure at a ventilator height. We are not going to show the ventilators in a full continuous dimension, full continuous line. As you see in many offices, they show windows and the ventilators in a dotted line. So if you provide the dotted lines, it means that your cut line for the floor plan is something different what standard follows apart from the standard. Okay, so only the ventilators has to be shown. If any of your window is also coming at a height in the same as ventilator or above 5 feet or 6 feet, if you are giving any window, then you have to show this also with the dotted line. So not only the ventilator, any window that is placed above 5 feet, the sill height is going more than 5 feet, so then you will have to show the windows in a dotted line again. And then the levels in the elevations, so make sure you show all the levels including the ground level, the plinth height, the finished floor height of all the roof. If you are giving a different heights of the individual rooms in the lower level, in the lower floor plan, the heights has to be shown. The maximum height, the total height of the building also have to be shown in your elevation and section. And when you're providing the hatch, it is not compulsory that you provide the hatch, but only for the presentation drawings, it is good to provide a hatch in the walls. That will show exactly where your walls are coming, and it will not be confused with your furniture lines or the dimension lines. That is the reason why we show the hatch. And when you are giving a cutout in any floor, if it is not coming in that particular floor, it has to be shown in a dotted line. And if it is the cutout in the same floor, it has to be in a continuous line. So you can keep that in mind. And when you're giving a centerline drawing, always give two diagonal dimensions in a centerline drawing. One will not be sufficient because their dimensions can go incorrect. Sometimes we cannot get 100% accurate. So if you provide two dimensions, if there is any mistake or miscalculation at the side, it can be seen at in a very beginning stage, because the location of the dimensions, location of the columns are very important to start any construction. So when you're showing the windows, the floor, the names of the windows in the floor plan should always match the elevation. In the elevation names, the window names in the floor plans and in the elevations has to match. Always double cross these things. And when you are giving the window names or the window dimensions also, the same x-axis and y-axis concept goes, where you have to give the width of the window first and then the height of the window or a door for that matter. And when you're preparing an electrical drawing, make sure your connections, where you are showing the controls of any fixtures for the lights, fans, for anything, these connections are not intersected. So if any connections are intersected, a person reading the drawing might not understand the actual controls. For example, your lighting control and the fan controls are intersected and going to two other directions. So they will not know the fan controls has to sit on which wall and the light controls has to sit on which wall. So make sure your controls that you will show in a spline or a curved lines, right? So these lines shouldn't be intersecting at any point. And when you're creating any electrical points or any electrical switches, it cannot sit on any column or a beam, because you cannot carve out or you cannot drill on any column. You're not supposed to give the switch boxes on a column or a beam. This is a very common mistakes people are doing or the students are doing. And when you are giving electrical point, you have to consider the furniture layout and the beam layout, because sometimes what happens, your wardrobes or your kitchen woodworks which are going till the ceiling can give you a misinterpretation. So you have to show till where your wardrobe is coming. So after that, the space what you are getting, so for that particular space you have to find the center point to give the fan location. Similarly, when you're going a parking area, you have to see where the beams are coming till where your slab, the next floor slab is coming. According to that, you have to consider where you can provide the center point or the 4 points which has to come to the ceiling. Any questions here in the errors? I'm assuming it is very easy and clear there. And here we are going to talk about a few things. If you are an architect, fresh architect, or architecture student who is doing internship in architecture firms, or if you are a civil engineer who has designed and who wants to get very unique designs constructed, these are the few things which you have to keep in mind. One is, if you are going at the initial stage of the construction, like you are just starting with the beams and columns for the foundation you are going. So at during that stage, things you which you have to observe is that one is one is height of the plinth what they have given. Okay, before we go for the plinth, one is initial stage before you start designing your project. The first thing is the sun rotation, in which direction you are getting a strong light, that is east, and the north directions where you are getting, is there any constructions or any trees or anything that is obstructing these direct light to your plot. So these are few, that is the point you have to look into. And the second one is the wind direction, so in which direction you are getting a very good flow of air. So if you find out and use this, you will get a really good flow inside the house after you complete the construction. And next is during the foundation stage. That is like you have to check if the columns or the alignment of the columns in the plan, it is shown as a vertical column, but while reading at the site, because they turn around the prints and they read it wrongly sometimes, and they might place a horizontal column. So when you go to do the checking at site, after they start providing the reinforcements for column, what you have to do is you have to check the alignments of the column. One is number of columns, if they have um, made the provision for all the columns, that is one thing you have to check, because sometimes if there is any missing column at the site, then again you will be confused and you will be blamed for it. So when you go to this, there is chances that a person might miss out digging or providing the foundation one for one column. So during the foundation only you have to finalize, or you have to tell them like the numbers are missing. So that is one, the alignment of the column. If it is vertical, the foundation is also planned for a um, vertical execution of column. And yeah, that is two things that you have to start during the construction. After that is the levels. Most of the times whatever the level you have provided in the drawing might not be understood to the contractor. If the contractors, especially coming from the client side, you might have given 1 feet from the floor level, 1 feet from the road level, and they might have started with the plinth with sorry 2.5 feet. So what happens, all your elevations you will have to give additional stairs, additional ramps, the entire elevation gets spoils there. So make sure your heights of the plinth has to match your drawing. It shouldn't go too high or it shouldn't go too less. So when they have provided the reinforcement, so that is the reason why architects visit site before they pour the concrete, before the concreting is done, and after the reinforcement is done. So if there is any mistakes and they have to make any correction, they will have the option to make the changes and get the heights in a proper place. So that is the reason you need to visit before they pour the concrete. And the finishing of the concrete, like as you see, sometimes if they are not using the machineries to give the proper vibration in the columns, the surface or the distribution of aggregates inside the cement might not be to the fullest. So what happens, all the aggregate sits at the bottom, or maybe only the cement is seen on the top, it is not mixed. So on the surface you can find out and understand the quality of the construction. So too many stones are visible on the outside is also a problem, or if you see only the cement on the top or the aggregates on the bottom, that is also a problem. Next is when you go for the slab, before they pour the concrete for the slab, you have to see if the beams, whatever the structural engineer has provided you, the drawings provided by the structural engineer, is matching at the site. So they have given the flat beams as a flat beam itself, and they are not giving additional or the regular beam in that location. And if they have mentioned any inverted beam in the drawing, but at the site it might not have taken care, or if there is any rotation of column, or if there is any discontinue of column only at that particular floor. So these are the few things which you will have to coordinate with the contractor or the mason and tell them prior, so that these mistakes are avoided at the site. So most of the time, if you are not telling them like this column has to stop here, or maybe there is a rotation of column, or maybe there is an invert beam, sometimes they fail to read this in the drawing and they go for a regular beam. So to avoid this, give beforehand, in tell them like these are the few things that you have to take care during the next slab construction. So these are the very minor things which you can consider. And coming to the different streams available for architects, where you can grow, especially in India, there is a huge demand for every other stream apart from being only an individual practitioner. There are few. One is, as you know, this is a common field which all architects choose to go, that is being a independent architect. So here we can see what all the pros, cons, and what should be the eligibility to choose this path. One is, well, the advantages of this being an individual architect, having your own firm, is that complete freedom of the design. So whatever the design you want to give or propose to your client, you will have that complete freedom. Second one is you can decide on the designing or the costing. So you will have all the authority of this, and you will get recognized for the entire work that you have provided. So without any doubt, you can claim that design as completely yours, and your creativity and aspirations will be completely under your control. At the same time, the disadvantages is one thing, it will be very difficult to face clients when, especially during the payments, or when there is any discrepancy of not matching the design or client not liking your design. So there can be some clashes which you will have to face it alone. Another thing is that client might question every single detail or every single design you are going to propose. That can also be a risk, where the client doesn't have 100% trust and they want to intervene at every stage. So they might question at every stage, why like this, why like that, why not like this, contractor is suggesting me something else. So all these questions you will have to answer them alone, and you will have to convince them alone. So all these things become easier when you have a team or when you have a partner together. So at the same time, you have the risk of underpayment for the effort. You will have to put a lot of effort, but at the same time, the payment which you might receive might not match to that efforts. The eligibility is one thing, you should have a very good network and very good communication skills, where you can close deals, talk to the people, and close deals is very important, becomes very important. And as if you want to practice in India, this is a compulsory that you should have a degree and a license to call yourself as an architect. And yeah, negotiation skills, which I told you right now. Second one is working with small architecture firms, and many students especially pick this option to learn and get more exposure of the construction industry. So here also you have few drawbacks to continue this for a lifetime if you want to keep working in the small architecture firms. One is the plus points is that you get a very good exposure, complete life cycle of the construction. You will be able to see from scratch till till the building takes shapes, till the building takes shape, and you will be understanding the materials that is going into the construction, the costing that goes, all the methodology or the technique what the architect is using. You will understand all of these things, and also you will get an opportunity to learn from single person and understand the challenges and understand the process, especially how the construction works, how the drawings are made, how the construction, the execution works. You will get to understand very closely when you work in a smaller firm. The disadvantages is that the salaries what you're looking for might be limited, and the dependency will be more. You will have to depend on your principal architect or the senior architects to approve for your designs. So your creativity will be limited when you cannot see your designs taking shape. Only until unless you are really lucky, you will get to do the designing in the initial stages of your architecture career. And potentially, at least for now, the architecture working hours, office working hours are really long. It can go up to like 9 to 10 hours in any architecture firms, because as you see, the number of iterations made for the drawings, or maybe the time required at the site, is very high. The profession is very demanding. Eligibility is very simple as for the both. One is to have the degree. The license is not compulsory here, and the willingness to adapt the demand what is there in the industry. So that willingness is very important. And your drafting skills and basic softwares, maybe it can be the CAD or the SketchUp or the renders. So if you are really good at the softwares, it is always good. Your life becomes very easy if you're working in the small architecture firms. The other one is the corporate architecture firms, where there are many firms in India which supports international architectural firms, which supports a huge constructions happening in and around the world, where the drafting, designing, the working drawing production, the renders, everything that happens in the office will be done here, and then it is um taken at the site, which is completely outside of the. It can be in India, it can be outside India too. So if you are referring to corporate firms, the bigger firms, where you become a very small part of your work can be seen in a very huge project. The pros here is like you can get a very good salaries here, and your working hours, and the lifestyle, and the career and personal life balance, and the exposure you get for the corporate field will also match to any other corporate field which is available right now. And you will get to work on very good softwares, high end gadgets, and you will also have a really good teams. They will also look after your stress levels, your health. You get many other benefits from the company, and you will have a very defined career growth. But individually, if you want to start after completing a corporate architecture firms, then it can become a challenge until unless you plan to again start with a bigger corporate or a small team which you want to go for a bigger projects. So you can outsource for these same people, where looking for many architectural firms across the world are looking for smaller firms where they want to collaborate, and where they can get all the services done here and they can use it at the site. So all the construction happens there. There are people who can take care of the executions so at the location, but all the drawings, the office work which happens will be happening here. The limitations here is that creativity will be completely cut. Hardly you can get to do any designing work. It is more of manual, or you will be following any formats the company has already set. That is one thing. And second thing is, you might be doing very repetitive job, only working drawings, or maybe creating only the sections, or creating only the designs, which is already, the designing will be already done, so you will be providing only the dimensions, or maybe you will be providing only the drawings that are required for executions. So only the detailing work will be your job to do. So that will become a very manual job. And sometimes you might be asked for the extra hours. And yeah, these are the few disadvantages you might find in working at a architecture corporate architecture firm. The eligibility is the same which we follow for the small architecture firms, that is good with the softwares. And you need to have a degree here. And another interesting career which you can choose is architectural photographer, where there is a huge demand for this also, um, because of lesser competition. The price or the demand amount that you can demand is quite high in the market right now. The opportunities is that you will get to work very close to architects, you will get to visit many architectural projects, and you will get to understand many creative designs, the materials. You'll get to see many close projects, which is completed projects which has already taken shape. And as I said, it is highly rewarding, and you have a flexibility, like when you want to do the job, and where you can when you want to take up the job, you can start in your early student life itself. Maybe even if you are in third year, fourth year, if you have a very good photography skills, you can start it right away, start getting your experience in photography. The again here limitations is that architects, as you know, they are very demanding. They want to get proper angles, they want to get their designs, whatever the perspective they are trying to create it, they want you to capture in the frame. So that will be a huge challenge to satisfy architects. The second one is the investments that you will have to make to buy the to buy the cameras, to buy the gimbal, the stands, the lighting. So the investment might be a little on a higher side, but if you are still passionate and you want to continue in this industry, you want to continue in this path, it is definitely worth taking it. And finding regular clients, finding regular architects, and finding projects, or finding continuous, having the job continuously can be a challenging sometimes. So the eligibility is, one is passionate about taking the photography and understanding of architecture, the angles, perspectives. So if you have a really good understanding, this will be the best career growth for you. And the again, after you click the pictures also, you need to know additional softwares where you do the editing, where you understand the lighting, where you do a small editing of the videos, it can be for the pictures. So these are additional knowledge that you need to have to continue in this path. Next one is architecture journalism. Even you might have seen few students take up architecture photography. Architecture journalism has completely become a elite profession, where hardly people are coming into this platform, where it is very much in demand. There are many magazines, there are many platforms in India, especially, which requires people share their knowledge, share their writing skills. So here the advantages is that, as I told you, very less demand. Hardly you can see any competitions here. And the gap, you become a kind of uh, bridge between the common man and architects. As you know, there is a very less awareness about architects and architecture field. What is the importance of having an architect in the project itself is required to share among common people. So this becomes kind of a responsibility if you are coming into the field. So you make architecture into a simple word, simplify the simplify the industry, make them understand, make them interesting. So this can be a very creative job, especially if you are into writing and yeah, especially if you are into writing and you enjoy writing. So this will also help in educating society about the importance, as I said. Again, the limitations here is that initially, until unless you are well known, or until unless you are you have published sufficient number of publications or writings, so initially you might not be able to demand for your work, but over a period of time, once you have your own set of people, readers for you, so this can become a very good this can become a very good option. So, gathering accurate information. So, if you are writing on any particular topic, getting the knowledge or finding out the facts or understanding the industry, or maybe um, getting the perspectives of the people on the paper becomes sometimes can be challenging and stressful. As you see in any creative field, if you are not at a peace of mind, or if you are juggling with something, creativity can also be a challenge. So here the eligibility is that the storytelling, you should be a really good storyteller and you should have a very good knowledge on English or any other language which you choose for, and research skills where you can simplify the complex ideas. So this is very important for this job, and a recognized degree, obviously, where you need to have a degree to understand the industry. The next one is a teaching job, where you can see in every college many people prefer to come for teaching job because they have many advantages here. One is that you will never stop learning when you become a teacher. The new ideas, the new techniques in the market, so all these things, you will be always updated regarding this. And the second thing is, during the teaching, most of the people and most of the lecturers or professor get to have time to take up their individual projects also. So this can become a both the side, like you will be teaching and you can also handle the projects, because after completion of teaching, after college, you will get a really good amount of free time, or especially during the holidays, after during the semester breaks, or if you have any government holidays. So these will be completely utilized being a teacher. If comparative in any other architecture firms or in any other career, this advantage will be seen very less. And since you will be engaging with upcoming students, upcoming architects, you will get to have your creativity grow, and that will never stop. The limitations here is that in many colleges, you are also demanded or expected to complete the administration work along with the teaching. It can be creating the portions on creating the content, what is taught, what has to be taught to the students, or it can be maintaining the attendance or getting the assignments. So there will be many other responsibilities that you will have to be taken care. And sometimes maybe during the PCAS, during the exams, or maybe during any fest or any events that is going on, so your responsibility will suddenly spike. So this here balancing becomes a little difficult. And as in many places, apart from this, similar to the corporate architecture firms, here also you might come across few uh, politics that can affect your growth. So eligibility is one thing. For a diploma or a small institutions, the BR degree will be sufficient. But if you want to teach in architecture colleges, a mark degree is a compulsory, or you should have a minimum of 7 to 8 years of experience if you have to come into this teaching path. And also the passion for teaching and interacting with students is a compulsory thing. So those are the few things which you can choose if you are an architecture student, or if you have just completed architecture. So that is about it. If you have any questions. Any questions, guys? Am I audible? No questions?
Am I audible?
Yes, tell me, Kitna.
Yeah, I just wanted to know detail about the plumbing, like how the hot water and cold water inlet and outlet works,
The
and also the pipeline for the solar heater thing. So, can you be detailed in it?
Sure, sure, I'll do that. I'll share the screen. So as I showed you in the plumbing drawing, from the overhead tank, your cold water, you will have two tanks, that is the solar water heater solar tanks, and the regular some regular overhead tanks which is available. The cold water is always from the regular tank, and the hot water will go to it depends on the client requirement also. From the solar tank, it will reach the hot water will reach the toilets and the kitchen um, as a separate line. As you see here, it is starting from cold. As you show cold water, similarly you have to show for the hot water also. So whichever the starting point from the solar tank it starts, similarly how your cold water pipelines are taken, similarly you have to show the hot water pipes also. So for example, here at this floor I am taking all the water at this particular point, and I am distributing from here. So cold water and hot water, these two pipes go side by side, and the distribution happens, one is to the water heaters or the shower heads, or and one is for the wash basin and the WC. So if you have option, two options is that some people prefer to have the hot water for the wash basins also. But if it is a very good villas, or if it is a prime location apartments, then you will have to show hot water pipelines to the wash basins and the overhead tank. Sometimes people prefer to have the hot water coming in the kitchen also. So as you show the cold water, right next to it you have to show for the hot water also. Similarly, the outlets are shown in the form of lines. One is the orange line and one is the green line, is for the solid and the liquid waste. So you will show through the lines. All your lines represents the pipe which is going to be installed at the site. So imagine that these lines are the pipes, and it is running in the same location where you are showing on the drawing, and you are showing in which direction the water flows to. Is that correct? Did you understand what?
Yeah, I got it.
Yes, you
Yeah, I got it. But what in case of column is blocking? And how
uh,
do I take the pipelines if
yes.
in case
So,
of
for
water
example,
closet is coming near the column?
correct. You can see the screen, right? For example, here. So, can you see this? So, we have the column at this place. So, what happens? You have to either take it in the floor just below the slab. Like for example, you can take it here in the diagonal, or you can take it in the middle. If you have a column, then it is a blockage. So if you make options or provision to run the pipe through this column, then you will be able to pass it. Otherwise you will have to take a bend and then take the pipes outside. You cannot touch the column, that is very obvious. So that is the reason why they raise the slab, or they will provide the sunken slab.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Okay. Anything else? Any other questions? Any feedback you want to share? Was it helpful? Was it not helpful? Was it fast, slow? Anybody wants to talk? No questions? Okay, you can leave a chat also. Okay. Meenal, are there any particular studios for architectural photographers for learning? Right now, it is not available. It is only online videos which you can follow. So, teaching or learning through studios is not available. At least now, it is not there. But in future, maybe you can start one if you are interested. Girls, you have a review link. Please take few minutes and answer these questions. If you have any doubts there also, you can just leave a chat here. You can check our websites if you're a student or architects. If you want to write any blogs or if you want to share any information, you can register on our platform, and under your profile, when users or customers or the clients are looking or checking out your profile, you can also display all the blogs or the write-ups that you want to publish here. So LOI Nest is also a platform to showcase your writings and showcase your work. You can upload pictures, you can upload the projects. So you can reach out to us to upload projects, but you can upload as many pictures as you want. So anybody they are searching for architects in your location, create a profile today so that people can reach out to you through our platform. All done? Okay. Thank you for your time, guys. So we'll see you in the next workshop. We will keep posting on all the updates, all the topics that we want to cover. Thank you for your time. See you soon. Bye. Take care.